Good morning, police emergency. How may I assist you?
Good evening and welcome to Ghana Police Watch. On this program, we have always promoted the idea that combating crime and ensuring that we all receive maximum security is a shared responsibility. This highlights the all-important relationship between the police and the public. Ghana Police Watch itself, apart from communicating vital information, has always played a critical role in this regard, a bridge, if you like, in this respect. This evening, we want to take a closer look at this relationship by discussing recent events which have highlighted why this relationship is so vital. Hey! We are privileged to have in the studio ACP David Eklu, the Director General Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, to help us discuss these issues. Ghana Police Watch celebrated its one-year anniversary last week with a call from all the key stakeholders for support. If you would like to sponsor the program, please call this number 050-840-6658. The number again is 050-840-6658. Every year, Ghana Police Service celebrates WASA, which is an event to take stock and project positively into the future. President Nana Akufo-Addo was there, as well as other dignitaries. Ghana Police Watch was also there and brings you this brief report.
It is with much delight that I welcome you to the 2018 WASA celebration of the police headquarters. On behalf of the police administration and the entire police service, I want to sincerely thank you, very particularly, Mr. President, for making time to be personally present. The celebration of WASA has become part of our culture, during which we take stock of our activities in the preceding year, with a view to review lessons learned and chart a new path into the next year. As we celebrate WASA, we want to assure all people in Ghana that police is consolidating ideas towards supporting the political process to rid the nation of the most talked about issue in recent times, vigilantism. With unwavering political will demonstrated by Your Excellency, the police is further emboldened to tackle the menace head-on. I cannot conclude without acknowledging our numerous partners, which include our media partners who gave us airtime on their television stations. That has enabled us to keep airing our flagship television program, The Police Watch. I want to particularly mention Dr. Kwesi Owusu and his team of Creative Storm for their immense support and commitment in production. There is no gainsaying that the anchor of the program, Mr. Israel Laye, has given the program a tremendous push with his professionalism, and the police administration appreciates his effort.
As far as the public engagement is concerned, the IGP made mention of the Police Watch program that is making such a great impact. I can tell you that I have the clearance of the President to declare support of the Ministry of the Interior for that program. So we shall support.
Such a gathering of the Ghana Police Service is always important because it presents you with the opportunity to reflect on the events, successes, and failures of the past year, so the needed steps can be taken to improve on every aspect of your operations. It is also important because, as the saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I use this occasion to thank the Ghana Police Service on behalf of the government and people of Ghana for the excellent display and presentation you put up in Tamale, capital of the Northern Region, on 6th March 2019 to commemorate the independence anniversary of our nation's 62nd birthday. The preparations and performances were outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, the most important things for our nation are its peace, the safety of its people, and its territorial integrity. The government is determined to work with the police to guarantee the security of citizens in accordance with the rule of law. That is why my government will continue to work to modernize and resource the police service adequately in order to assist it to maintain law and order and protect lives and property. For the first time since the Gold Coast era, the police service instructions that govern every aspect of internal professional behavior have been wholly revised. From the code of conduct to administration, welfare, recruitment and training, use of firearms, the new service instructions puts into writing specific directions for every rank in every aspect of their work. It is often said that the public is the police and the police is the public. Currently, the police service, unfortunately, suffers lower public image than it should. I'm glad that the leadership of the police is working hard towards reversing this. It is important for the growth and development of society that justice is done to all manner of persons without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
ACP David Eklu is the Director General of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, and he has joined us in the studio this evening on Ghana Police Watch. Thank you very much for making time to speak with us. There have been a number of issues in the last few days which have to border on the relationship between the police and members of the public. What's the background to the story?
I think we all saw the video. I think that we're all concerned, especially when the police officer was in uniform. It is not an attack on the police officer as a person, but the badge of authority has also come to question. But it also brought up several issues. What went wrong? Were there some underlying factors?
How did it degenerate to that?
Exactly. So those are issues that we need to discuss. But since the case is in court, the suspects are in custody. The case will be called on Monday. That will be 1st of April, a week today. We would not want to go too much into the merits and demerits of the case. But to us as police administration and police officers, it shows that there is still that deep mistrust between the police and the public, which should not be, especially when people could not intervene at that stage. People looked on whilst an officer of the law was treated that way. So it is a signal that there might be some fault lines in the relationship between us and the public that we serve. And then also public confidence in the police is also one instance that we need to look at again and see. So as we wait for the court to render its decision on this case, there are other peripheral issues that we need to look at, and we have started examining some of these issues and see how this can be corrected.
Now, in this particular instance, there have been reports suggesting that the police officer actually maybe initially engaged this driver and probably started the brutalization. Is that something that you're looking at as part of your investigations?
For now, let us say that the two suspects have also, because they did not plead guilty, so it means that they are going to open their defense. So let us leave it for now and see what they will also state in court.
And then we've also heard the lawyer say that the lawyer for these, the driver and the mate, driver's assistant, say that they have been assaulted. Is that something that has come to your attention?
Well, all those ones are statements that they would give.
As in they were assaulted whilst in police custody?
Well, those are statements, allegations that would have to be looked into, and then we'll look at it. So if this part of it, we'll look at it. But for now, they are in safe custody, and their lawyers have access to them now. The family has access to them now. So that is where we are now.
The second instance has to do with the Ghanaian Times reporters and staff who were assaulted. You tell us the background to this other story too.
Yes, for that, what we have, and the report I received the day the incident happened, was that there was a traffic incident involving the Ghanaian Times vehicle and then a police officer who was riding a motorbike. So I intervened personally, and then I met the editor of the Ghanaian Times, and the journalist, one of the journalists was in custody. So we arranged for him to receive medical attention. And then the other officers were also identified, and they came to give their statement. The other lady who was also injured, or maybe had a knock on the tummy and was rushed to Ridge Hospital, was also visited. And she also gave an account of what happened. So that one has also been reduced into a statement. The next step that we took was that, if I took a while, 3 or 4 days before the Ghanaian Times journalists gave their official statement, not what we read in the media, but official statement endorsed by them. So immediately we got that report. The 3 officers had to be interdicted, and they have. And the regional crime officer for Accra, and then the central MTTD commander have been instructed to go. So there are 2 aspects of the case: the traffic accident, and then the alleged assault. And they have been given 1 week to at least submit their first report. So let us see how it goes. So action was taken. But the worry was from the members of the public, unfortunately, was that we delayed. We did not. Because the incident happened on Thursday. The 2 journalists were given medical form to go to hospital. They only gave their statement on Monday. So on Wednesday, the officers who were involved, based on the preliminary report, were interdicted.
We'll come to the bit about the delay. The members of the public saying that you delayed,
especially by the media,
which you're trying to justify or debunk.
Yeah.
But how is it that somebody who was assaulted by a police officer who, broke the law, essentially, the victim of the assault rather ends up in custody?
Yes, that is what people are not getting. When I went there, the report was that he was arrested, the journalist, and brought to the police station. And the police officer came with a crumpled uniform and said that he had been assaulted. So the officers who were sitting at the charge office were only acting on the report that came. Beyond that, when we went there and realized, when he also gave his side of the story, because at that time he had not given any statement to the police, because he said he was waiting for his lawyer. So until we got there with the Ghanaian Times editor, then we got him out of the cell. Then he told us his side of the story. So having listened to it with the divisional commander, we all agreed, okay, so the first thing that he has to do is to seek medical assistance. So medical form was issued to him. So it isn't that the officers at the station knew that those assault had happened at the traffic light just close to the Ghana publishing. So those aspects will also be looked at carefully, because they have been interdicted. They are now going to go into the case, and all these sides will come out. And please, let's be very careful. When issues happen like this, there are always 2 sides to the story. We have only heard the journalist side, and because he has a media space, everything is out there. We have not heard the statement that the police officers have given. So it will be interesting to also get their side of the story. Then the 2 will be put together to see where the case will end.
Well, I'm sure you have had access to what the policeman has had to say. What did he say?
Yeah, that's why I said he arrested the journalist and brought him there, that he had assaulted him. That's what happened. But the whole case happened because of the traffic accident, and then the seizure of a mobile phone that the journalist was using, that led to the scuffle. So that is a background to the case.
because we've talked about, you mentioned mobile phone.
Yes.
And it appears the police are generally, most police officers don't like to be filmed.
Yeah.
I would wish that you would speak to the officers on this show and tell them why they don't necessarily have to worry about they being filmed. Because in the instance of the driver and the mate who assaulted the police officer, it was the filming of this incident that brought it out and got people on the side of the police.
Yes. In fact, this issue of mobile phone technology, where people can film and send videos or photos or images instantly, is one of the things that we have to acknowledge as law enforcement officers. For example, we are introducing body camera, just like mobile phone, which can take real-time videos of a scene and transmit to another end. So technology has come to stay. And the second one is that there is no law which forbids the filming of a police officer whilst we are on official duties. But on the side of the police, we know that videos can be manipulated. The police officer is not sure where that video will end and how that video will be treated. This is not the first time that police officers have been videoed doing their work. But issues of privacy and how that video where that video will end is a question that police officers are also concerned about. We tell our officers that, look, if you are doing the right thing and somebody is videoing, officers have been promoted because of videos. If you are doing your work professionally and to serve as a good example to other officers or even the public, you don't have to worry.
Hey! Muslim.
We have a recent case that happened in Sweden, in the central region, where a uniformed person was seen kicking a boy amidst a crowd. And a police officer who was on duty close by, attention was drawn to it. So she came there and rescued the boy. Unfortunately, we only saw that aspect of the video, and we saw somebody who was in a uniform that looked like the police.
Yeah.
Those who put it out and those who generated discussions on it did not take time to find out who that person was, the one who kicked the boy. What is the background of it? Because if the person is taking a shot whilst the action was going on, he cannot capture the beginning up to the end. He only takes one aspect and sends it out. So if we are commenting on it, there is a need for us, because when I saw the video, it took me 2 days, because I saw it on, I think, Saturday or so, when they showed it to me. I said, Lord, let's be careful. Let me look at it again. I shared it with colleagues. Then they said, well, that uniform is not a police uniform.
All right.
So it took us 2 days to make sure that we were very certain, and even got to know that it happened in Sweden, at Sweden in the central region. So if videos like that come and we rush to raise emotions and sentiments against the police, it is bad. Because when the video came out and the discussion started on some FM stations, within an hour we sent a statement clarifying it. But unfortunately, that statement did not get the same prominence as the one who put it out and started calling. He opened the phone lines for people to call in and started bashing, if I want to use that word, attacking the police, concluding that it was a police officer who did it. So sometimes it is very important, especially when a journalist is videoing. That's an official one. But when a citizen journalist is videoing, that's a different aspect. And I will tell our officers that we must be aware that our actions are always under public scrutiny. So if you are not careful, you are doing the wrong thing, you could be exposed. So it is an advice to both police officers and citizen journalists. Most of these videos we got are not from journalists who were performing their official duties. These are from citizens who were concerned about certain actions and wanted the public to know. So that one, it is the officer to always show professionalism at all times.
I appreciate the fact that, yes, sometimes, like this incident that you cited of the Swedru municipal guard, yes, some videos can be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't happen. Yeah. I'd urge my colleagues in the media and everybody else that, yes, we should be more critical about some of these things. So let's be cautious about how we use them. But going back to the filming of police officers,
yeah.
If a policeman is being filmed, this filming we're talking about, nothing was doctored, and I'm yet to hear of any instance where a policeman has been filmed and the video doctored. And so, yes, much as we should be cautioning the people about when they are filming the police officers, I think the police officers must primarily be made to know that if you're being filmed and you're doing the right thing, you don't have nothing to worry about. Just ignore them and carry on with your duties, and don't be distracted.
Yes, you are right. You are on point there. But every police officer may have differences in the way they react to situations. And the fear of the video ending at a place that may embarrass the police officer is also there. Now, let us distinguish between a journalist who is filming, a professional person who is filming, and then an amateur person who is filming. When that video gets to the hands of a journalist, that is where the professionalism is. How do I interpret this video? How do I conduct my checks to find out that this video is accurate before you put it out there and start commenting on it? So the concern is the video comes, you pick only, the camera captures only one aspect. Yeah. It gets to the hands of the journalist. They are running along with it and start commenting, making people, inciting or encouraging people to make comments against the police. So the videoing is not bad, but as I said, at the end of the day, if you lay hands on it as Israeli, you lay hands on such a video, and you see somebody who looks like a police officer, what do you have to do? Do you have to conclude there with that cross-checking, like this Swedru one?
No, clearly you have to cross-check.
Exactly.
To be sure.
So those are the concerns of police officers.
So in the case of this Swedru municipal officer that we're city guard that we're talking about, what has happened in this case?
Yes, they have been arrested. The city guard and 2 other persons have been arrested, and they are heading to court. Now,
I'd want us to go back a bit to the issue of the Ghanaian Times reporter. The Ghanaian Times, 3 of the officers involved have been interdicted. Yeah. The Ghanaian Times believes that there should be more interdicted. They're saying there were about 10 people involved, including a military officer. Mm-hmm. What's happening to the others?
Since the case is under investigation, let us leave it now until the investigations are concluded. There could be more people who will be identified along the line. From what I gathered, there were others who happened to be around, or they were working and they saw that there was a scuffle between the journalist and the police officer. Some did not understand the background, so they went in to assist the police officer effect arrest of the journalist. Some of them have been identified, but others are yet to be identified. So let us wait for the investigation and see how it pans out.
Back to the issue of the Ghanaian Times reporter and the incident that also happened involving the policeman who was assaulted by the driver and his assistant. There's this perception amongst the public that the police seem to move in quickly and deal with situations involving police officers who have been assaulted in this case. But when it comes to others who are not police officers, then the police will drag its feet. How do you respond to this?
I think this perception, unfortunately, is fueled by the media, journalists who will not cross-check facts. If you look at the Ghanaian Times incident, and then the driver and the mate, these are 2 separate cases. And I have just outlined the steps that we took from Thursday up to Monday before the journalists wrote their statements. How could we have taken any action without an official statement from the journalist. In the other video where the driver and the maid, which case is in court now, it was the driver who came to report an assault against a police officer. The officers at Odoko did not know that this was what had happened. It was later that they got to see the video. So when he came back with the medical form, he was arrested. So let us get these two scenarios clear. And sometimes, because of the media factor, would want to be, once a police officer is involved, we conclude that we drag our feet. No police organization will tolerate officers who break the law and be part of it. It will not. It doesn't even augur well for command. It doesn't even augur well for discipline. It doesn't augur well for control measures. But police officers also have rights. So we must listen to them, and we must take them through procedures that are laid down to make sure that if you are found culpable, you face the law. But the public, fueled by the media, would want what I would call instant justice when police officers are alleged to have committed a crime, without waiting for the side of the police officers. Because the police officers don't have access to the media, they always feel that, well, nobody hears my story, nobody likes me.
I disagree, though. The police have access to the media. The show we're doing
you cannot bring an officer like that to the studio to explain his side of the story. So when a media or a journalist is moderating some of these programs, or maybe some of these issues when they come up, they should be careful that we have laid down procedures in dealing with police officers who break the law. We would not, under any circumstance, cover any police officer who breaks the law, but due process should always be followed. Okay.
We also have the issue of the Midland Savings and Loans incident, where this policeman was caught on video actually assaulting a nursing mother. Yes, that has gone through a process, but we're told that the policeman is back at post.
Yes, that is one of the cases that we need to clear quickly. And the administrative action should have been taken long ago, but there was a slight delay because he was interdicted. And then the trial at the court also went on. So you cannot try him administratively whilst the court case was going on.
Right.
And if he had been convicted by the court for assault or any other thing, automatically he would have been dismissed. But this didn't happen. The court discharged him for want of prosecution. So now that he's back in the service, we have to take him through the administrative procedures, which is ongoing. It would have been faster anyway, so that at least to continue the action that we took. Because as soon as the video came out and he was identified, he was arrested and placed in custody. After that, he was interdicted. And then the criminal trial went on and was truncated at the court. So the administrative procedures are going on. And what I also want to indicate is that he's no longer performing guard duties. He no longer has access to arms, but he's performing some other duties that will not require him to be in constant touch with the public until the administrative procedures are concluded. Now, per the police service regulation, if you interdict an officer or suspend an officer, you have to finish all the processes within 90 days. After 90 days, you have to automatically bring him back into the service. It happened in a certain case, a very popular case, where the officer, we could not finish the process within the 90 days. He took the case to court, and the court ordered that he should be reinstated. And then if the administrative trial is going on, the trying officer or the panel has 21 days to conclude that process. So that's why I'm saying that there are regulations, and these are legal regulations that you have to take the police officers through.
You say that the administrative process is ongoing,
yes,
and you also say that they have 21 days within which to finish.
Yes.
So do we know when, by which time they should be done with it?
In fact, my information from the administration was that the panel was constituted 2 weeks ago. So we should be looking at the next 2 weeks, barring any, because the officer who is assigned to try him may, at a stage, ask for extension, depending on the evidence that is available. But the legally, or as per the administrative procedure, that case should be dealt with within 21 days.
Do you recognize that a lot of policemen feel that because they wield the power, they should be able to assault people as a way of punishing them?
Yes, I recognize. And it is also made known to officers during their training. But the gap is that between the training school, when you graduate or you pass out, and you meet real life situations on the ground, training should be continued. That's why if you look at the transformation agenda, it is continuous training, because officers need to be reminded. You see, an arrest is defined by law in the Criminal Procedure Act. So that if I have to arrest you, you should be told in the language that that person understands. That's also some difficulties around the law there. And an arrest doesn't mean you slap the officer, the suspect. Yeah. An arrest doesn't mean that after you have restrained the suspect, you should go ahead and be kicking him. It is wrong. So police officers should know, and a lot of them know, but others who feel that the uniform gives them extra powers beyond what is defined by law should be very careful. And a lot of police officers have fallen into trouble because of that. And the way the administrative procedures or punishment is meted out in the police service, some of them, if you're not, apart from the family member or the colleagues at the station, you might not know, because some could be a sergeant, and the sergeant who have 3 stripes. You could be reduced to a corporal. And those ones are not announced. Your salary can be stopped. Every year you are entitled to increment of salary. Your salary can be stopped. You could be given a warning letter, and that punishment takes effect. For 1 year, you will not get any promotion. So there are various types of punishment that we met out to our officers. Some are even sent for retraining. If you find out that your conduct is not up to the standards of that, you are sent for retraining. Some are placed under supervision. So you could be an inspector, you can be placed under the supervision of a person of the same rank, or you may not be assigned a responsible position. All these things happen. And petitioners who write petitions against police officers for one thing or another are giving feedback through the letters that were sent to them. But these things are not made known to the public. But I know that it's a challenge that we need to communicate this effectively, so that people would know that, yes, we don't condone acts of indiscipline among our officers. They are procedures, and sometimes they bite, and they bite hard. Sometimes people even come to say we are not fair to our officers. So that is how it is. But at least we try to make sure that the system works. But there might be some lapses on the part of how police officers are handled and how these issues are communicated to the public. But it's not everything that we communicate to the media.
It's important. I think this is one of the significant things we're learning on this show after bail is free.
Yeah.
Bail is free.
Yeah.
And the other thing too that's also significant is the fact that the policeman is not supposed to assault a suspect as a way of exacting punishment. And I think since we have the platform now, you may want to address this one more time.
Yes. An assault is an illegal physical act against another person. The police, by the Criminal Procedure Act, have certain powers to use force in either restraining a suspect, from stopping him from harming another person, and also harming the police officer himself, to the extent of even killing. The law allows it. But these are all regulated by law. The concern is the excessive force that we use. I've cited 2 examples. If you are going to arrest somebody and you tell the person and the person resists, you can use reasonable force. It doesn't include slapping. It doesn't include, after arresting the person, you handcuff the person, you put him in the vehicle, and you continue punching the person. It is wrong. It is wrong. So the police can use force, but that force is defined by law. And also, if the police are using force, the force must be reasonable. It should not be cruel. It should not be used to dehumanize the person you are arresting. So these are the clear distinctions that are defined by law.
Thank you very much for the clarification. Let's move on to kidnapping.
The City Buzzer has got the whole city on lockdown.
For several months now, the rather relaxed Twin City with Sekondi has been thrown into panic and gripped by fear as a result of the kidnapping of 3 young girls in August and December last year. Priscilla Bentum, Ruth Love Kwesing, and Priscilla Kwanjin.
Forget every radio station for now.
I remember Woba, 18 years. Now I was just like that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. You are still live on Radio Max 105.1. And I'm sure right now you've heard about the big issues that almost everybody in Ghana are talking about.
The kidnapping cases in the metropolis. We shall hear from the police.
In the recent weeks and months, we've had instances of the issue of kidnapping in Takrady especially, where we have 3 ladies who have gone missing. We haven't heard, it's been a while since we heard any update from the police as far as the fate of these girls are concerned. And then just over the weekend, we're hearing that a 1-year-old boy has also been kidnapped as well, or he's gone missing, not say kidnapped. Well, let's start with the fate of the 3 females. What's the very latest?
Because we've not been able to locate the 3 ladies and reunite them to their families, it is also a matter of concern to both of us, the police and then members of the family. But the suspect is still in court and the trial is ongoing. But our main concern is, where are the girls?
Which
and
is what everybody
wants
wants to
questions. Because we've not been able to locate them, it is difficult. But for now, we have not closed the case.
What is the handicap? What is the challenge?
The challenge is to find out where the ladies are. We have done all we could, applying technology and all the interrogation that we have done, but unfortunately, we will not be able to get to that. But we have not closed the case yet. It's still under active investigation. A liaison officer, a female liaison officer has been appointed in the Western region to be in touch with the family. So any developer is communicated to the family. That we have done. The second one is that we have also established a kidnapping desk at the CID headquarters, so that since it is more or less an emerging crime, there is now a dedicated desk that looks at all aspects of kidnapping. The next one we have also, that I've outlined 2 steps. The third one is the education. The education is going on very, very well in schools and in other public places. We are also using the media. And then the 4th one is that some other people who have copycatted, or they have, we call something copycat crime. Once this crime happens, people will go and fake it, have also been arrested. Some young boys in the schools have feigned that they have been kidnapped because they wanted to extort or extract money from their parents. They are facing court now. So new dimensions are emerging, and we are following it. But the key one is to get those ladies, and we are working closely with the families and then with the other security agencies to make sure that we locate them. So we have not closed that case. It's an active case that we are updating and following all leads on a daily basis. The last update we did was on February 14th, when we had a major press conference. It was about vigilantism, but all these issues were addressed on February 14th. And I believe that within the week or next week, we'll give another update through the media channel. But when they talk about update to the family, the liaison officer is working on that aspect.
You say you're following all leads as far as this kidnapping is concerned. Does that include the possibility that these girls may have been trafficked out of the country?
Yeah, we are looking at that. So our anti-human trafficking unit is also looking at that aspect.
And any headway in that direction?
Not at this stage.
Did you get to interview the man who said he thought he saw one of the girls being sent out.
That has not come to my knowledge, but the CID is following all leads, even including media statements made in the media, social media and all that. All those ones are followed.
One other case that has been outstanding has to do with the assault of the multimedia journalist Latif Idris.
Yeah. In fact, Multimedia filed a complaint against the service at the National Media Commission. We have made about 3 or 4 appearances, and it was made known to the NMC that we are unable to identify the officer who attacked him. The last stage, and you say the latest, the docket or the report has been sent to the Attorney General for advice on the way forward.
Now, the service instructions, which is seen as the police Bible, was recently launched.
Yeah.
What next as far as the police is concerned? Because indeed, every police officer needs to have this and handle it like the Bible.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm sure it would have information as to how protocols, how to go about arrest and the rest of the conversation we've been having, and why you shouldn't be assaulting suspects and the rest.
Yeah.
How is this being disseminated to the officers?
In fact, it is one of the important steps we've taken to enhance police professionalism, because policing right from the streets to the office should follow certain acceptable procedures. We have had our service instructions since colonial time. There have been a few additions as and when, but there haven't been an overall review of the whole document. So this one was done with the support of the ARAP, that is the Accountability and Rule of Law Program of the European Union. So the whole document has been reviewed, updated. Certain quotations were even in shillings those days.
All right.
But they've been updated and all that. And now it even includes key issues about democracy, democratic policing. It includes ethics in policing. It includes the rights of suspects, the rights of victims, and the rights of police officers. So it is a whole document that covers every aspect of policing. Now, the distribution plan is that every police officer should have it. But for now, it is going to the regions, the districts, and the stations, because every police station should have that book as a reference point. So if you are working at Legon Police Station, you should be able to go to the station where there is a safe or a library where you can take and make reference to it. So every police officer will have access to it. And it might even be reduced to a pocket-sized or handy book, so that whilst you're on duty or every day, you can quickly flip through and see how you are guided.
How soon will that happen?
The distribution has already started.
I'm talking about the handbook.
The handbook. Yeah, we will have to finish all police stations. For now, we are sending them to the training schools, so that the new recruits who are on training now, there are new officers who are also going for command courses, they will have access to them. Then from there, it goes to all the regional commanders were present when it was launched, so they were given copies. From there, then we go to the divisions, the districts, and the stations. Yeah.
Are there any highlights in there that you think that it's so important that you'd want to share with the officers who will be watching right now?
Of course, yes. One is the ethical values or ethical principles in policing. The second one is democratic policing, policing in partnership with the public. The third one is about reputation and building confidence with the public. So all those steps are taken in the service instructions. That guides whatever you can. Even arrest procedures have been repeated in the service instructions, so that you know step by step what to take. And then use of force. Of course, firearms and all those ones are there to guide police officers. And then it's also going to be used as a training tool for all police training, either at the recruit level, at the command level, or during in-service training. This document is going to be used as a reference point for training police officers.
I believe it will be important that we find a way of incorporating the service instructions into a show like this.
It is an internal document. Certain aspects may be made public, but certain procedures that police have to adopt cannot be made public. So when those aspects are available, we can make them known to the public. For example, the use of firearms. That one, the public need to know that the police can shoot and kill under certain circumstances. Then it also shows the level of force that the police officer is authorized to use. It also shows the dangers that the public may face if they take the law into their own hands. I think those ones can be highlighted so that both police officers and then members of the public can know that this is what the police can do in the event of any situation where the police will have to apply force. And the police officer, the public will also know the remedies if their rights are violated by police officers.
One of the biggest shows we've had on Ghana Police Watch has to do with the Bail is Free program, which caught on. Everybody else became aware that bail is indeed free. But there are people, after we aired the show, who say that they've gone to the police station and they've had to pay.
Yeah.
Where are we with the Bail is Free campaign?
The first campaign was an open campaign because it was not targeted at any specific person. It was just to create awareness that bail is free. The next one is to also incorporate it in our internal training. And the third one is that I have heard people say that I went to the police station, they have asked me to pay, I say I will not pay. So vigilance, the essence is to let the public know that that is your right. So you don't allow police officers to extort money from you before granting bail. So when we have a vigilant public, a very well aware public, it is also part of the key points saying that the education has been effective. The public's now aware. People call us that, well, I went to this police station, they asked me to pay, and I did not pay. So I think it's good. So we have a vigilance on the part of the public, an internal awareness on the part of police officers, and we'll carry on. We are even trying to work on the radio version to reinforce what we have done on television. And even there's a cartoon that we are even working on, an animation that will reinforce. So education, the awareness is a continuous process.
So what should people do again when they go to the police station and they're being asked to pay for bail?
Let me just repeat what the IG said last Friday when we had our annual WASA get together. Bail is free. You don't pay when you are standing surety for a person who is arrested at the police station. Let me repeat it again.
I encounter a policeman who is insisting that if you don't pay, I'm not going to let your relative go.
Report the police officer.
Where?
And the law will take its course.
Where do you report
the police professional standards? You can even go there and see the police commander and file a complaint.
So see the police commander at the police station?
Yes. And let's see how it goes. The difficulty we have is that the Ghanaian way is that, well, I'm not ready to file a complaint. But if you don't complain, how do we act on it? It helps us even document that these are the number of people who have gone to this police station A, B, C, D, and these are the people who have been asked to pay and have filed a complaint. If the officer there refuses to take your complaint, it's an offense.
For those of you out there, our viewers, we say a big thank you for staying glued to the show and keeping faith with us. Keep tuned in to Ghana Police Watch. Next week, we'll bring you another show.